As autumn ended, West Germanic communities began wrapping up their agricultural year. By November, most crops were already harvested, stored, or preserved. The focus for the rest of the year shifted from field work to preparing for winter. Repairing tools, tending to houses, and managing livestock were common activities. This period also marked the close of the farming cycle that begun in early spring. Villages culled herds to reduce winter feeding demands and to store meat for the colder months. They also brewed ale to last through the dark season. Preparing for winter was practical, but it also likely carried social and ritual significance, as communal activities often had overlapping practical and symbolic roles. In some regions, this coincided with seasonal observances. Later sources like Bede suggest that these observances may have included honoring ancestors and communal rituals. The rhythm of work and rest followed nature's pace, structuring daily life even before formal calendars existed. Why do we celebrate Halloween every October 31st? Halloween traces back to Samhain, an ancient Celtic festival marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter. Archaeological and historical sources show that communities lit bonfires and performed rituals to honor the dead. At Samhain, the Celts recognized the seasonal transitions, and the veil between life and death was thought to be thin. From the 7th century onward, the Church established All Hallows' Eve on October 31st, the night before All Saints' Day, to incorporate existing pagan practices into Christian observances. Historical texts note that lighting candles and wearing disguises were early practices to honor the saints and protect against wandering spirits. Over time, traditions such as carving turnips or pumpkins and visiting homes evolved from these older customs. Written records from Ireland and Scotland in the 19th century describe children going guising with lanterns, reflecting harvest and protective wards. Today, Halloween blends these historical rituals with modern celebrations, a festival rooted in harvest, remembrance, and storytelling. Winter Nights, or the reconstructed term Winternacht, was a West Germanic observance marking the start of winter, generally in late October to early November. Communities made offerings to ancestors during winter nights to acknowledge the transition into winter and ensure the well-being of family and livestock during the colder months. Historical sources such as Bede, Saxo, and Tacitus note that these offerings often included food and drink. Symbolic gestures, such as small ritual objects or libations, are inferred from general pagan ritual practice. The festival reinforced seasonal awareness, helping communities coordinate agricultural tasks, domestic management, and communal responsibilities as the days shortened. Winter nights marked a communal observance before the hardships of winter fully set in, with activities and offerings noted in historical sources. The festival involved communities coming together to perform shared practices. The observance is part of a broader example in early Germanic societies, where seasonal rituals coincided with practical and social activities, showing how communities scheduled tasks and observances around natural cycles. Direct details of West Germanic winter nights are limited, and much of what is described is inferred from later sources and general Germanic ritual practices. Sunday, or Sonnendag in Old English, translates to sun's day. The name mirrors the Latin die solis, reflecting Roman influence on Germanic timekeeping. In West Germanic culture, Sunday was tied to the sun and light. It was also sometimes associated with sky gods such as Woden or Donar. Communities used it to structure work and rest cycles, with communal and ritual activities reflecting its sacred significance. Even after Christianization, Sunday retained its association with the primary day of worship, connecting practical labor with spiritual observance. Observing Sunday helped maintain weekly rhythm, seasonal awareness, and integration of daily life with natural and celestial cycles. Monday, or Monendag in Old English, literally means moon's day. Its name is a Germanic rendering of Latin Dies Lunae, showing Roman influence on weekday naming. In early West Germanic practice, Monday was tied to the moon and its cycles. However, direct evidence for specific rituals on that weekday is limited. The moon itself was important for marking months and timing agricultural tasks, travel, and other seasonal activities. Communities used Monday as part of the weekly rhythm, work, rest, and keeping track of celestial cycles. Monendag thus reflects how Germanic peoples blended Roman naming conventions with practical, cyclical timekeeping based on the sun and moon. Tuesday, or Tiwasdayig in Old English, literally means tea was day. The name is a direct Germanic equivalent of the Latin Dies Martis, or Day of Mars. This is an example of interpretatio Germanica, the practice of substituting Roman gods with Germanic ones when adopting the 7-day week. Tiwa, also called Tira in Old Norse, was the Germanic god equated with Mars and is chiefly associated with war. The use of Tiwasdayig shows how Roman timekeeping influenced the Anglo-Saxons while incorporating their own mythology into everyday life. The survival of this name into modern English as Tuesday demonstrates the long-lasting impact of this cultural exchange between Roman and Germanic traditions. Wednesday, or Woden'sdayig in Old English, literally means Woden's Day. The name is a direct Germanic equivalent of the Latin Dies Mercuri, or Day of Mercury. This reflects interpretatio Germanica, the practice of adapting Roman weekday names by identifying Roman gods with Germanic counterparts. Woden, the Anglo-Saxon form of the Proto-Germanic Wodennas, was a major deity associated with wisdom, poetry, and leadership. Roman observers equated Mercury with similar qualities of intelligence and travel, which made Woden the natural equivalent. The adaptation of Woden'sdayig into English demonstrates how linguistic and cultural exchange shaped timekeeping during and after Roman contact with Germanic peoples. Over time, Woden'sdayig evolved into Wednesday in modern English, preserving the link between the Roman and Germanic pantheons within everyday language. This shows how Roman timekeeping systems were adopted and adapted by Germanic peoples, leaving a lasting mark on the English language and culture. Thursday, or Thunrisdayig in Old English, literally means Thor's Day. The name is a Germanic equivalent of the Latin Dies Lovis, or Day of Jupiter. This reflects interpretatio Germanica, the practice of pairing Roman weekday names with Germanic deities. Thunor, or Thor in Old Norse, was the Germanic god associated with thunder, storms, and the sky. Roman Jupiter shared similar attributes. The weekday name corresponds linguistically. Communities use this day to mark the weekly cycle and organize work, rest, and ritual time according to natural rhythms, though specific weekday rites are not directly attested. The preservation of Thunrisdayig in modern English as Thursday shows the lasting influence of Roman timekeeping and Germanic religious concepts on the Anglo-Saxon calendar. These names illustrate the merging of Roman terminology with local language and belief systems, while also showing how Roman calendrical structures and Germanic linguistics and religious elements coexisted in early medieval England. Friday, or Friadayig in Old English, literally means Frigg's Day. The name is a Germanic equivalent of the Latin Dies Veneris, or Day of Venus, demonstrating interpretatio Germanica, where Roman weekday names were adapted by pairing Roman deities with Germanic ones. Frigg, an Anglo-Saxon goddess associated with marriage, household, and domestic well-being, served as the natural counterpart to Venus, who held similar associations of love, fertility, and family. The alignment of these figures explains the linguistic and cultural correspondence in the weekday name. The West Germanic Friday helped organize the weekly cycle, structuring work, rest, and domestic or social routines, though no specific rituals for the day are directly attested in historical sources. The survival of Friadayig in modern English as Friday demonstrates the lasting influence of the Roman calendrical system and Germanic religious frameworks on Anglo-Saxon timekeeping. These names highlight the integration of important Roman concepts with local language and belief systems, showing how Germanic peoples localized Roman time while maintaining their cultural identity. Saturday, or Saturdag in Old English, literally means Saturn's Day. Its name derives from the Latin Dies Saturni, showing that Germanic peoples adopted the Roman 7-day week into their timekeeping. Saturday is rather unique compared to all of the other Germanic day names. In fact, unlike most other weekdays, Saturday preserved the Roman deity's name rather than substituting a local god. In Roman tradition, Saturn was associated with agriculture, seasonal cycles, and social order, concepts that resonated with Anglo-Saxon life. The West Germanic Saturday was part of the weekly rhythm, providing framework for work, rest, and domestic activities. Communities organized trade, craft, and household labor around this day, ensuring that weekly obligations and agricultural tasks aligned with the broader social and seasonal patterns. While no specific rituals for Saturday are recorded, the day continued use into modern English as Saturday, highlighting the long-lasting impact of the Roman calendrical system. The name demonstrates how Anglo-Saxon society blended imported structures with everyday life, showing continuity in weekly organization and time across centuries. For several centuries, early Germanic peoples used the Elder Futhark, a writing system of 24 runes found on artifacts across northern Europe from the mid-2nd century CE to around 750 CE. These inscriptions recorded names, ownership, and memorials rather than daily writing. By the Viking Age, the spoken language had shifted from Proto-Germanic to Old Norse, and the writing system adapted. Around the late 8th century, the runes were reduced to 16 characters, forming the Younger Futhark. Several earlier rune sounds merged, aligning the script more closely with changes in spoken Old Norse. This change was not a cultural decline, but a linguistic adjustment. These runes kept their meaning and continued to appear on stone monuments, wood, and metal through the Viking Age. Most surviving rune stones use this form, which is why the Younger Futhark defines how we recognize Viking runes today.